Chapter 32, Jimmy Choo, Preview. I was home when my phone buzzed. A text from Monique. She was stranded, desperate, begging me to come get her. It was late. She was nearby. A piece of me hesitated. Enough time had passed that I was sure that her spell couldn't touch me, so I said yes. I pulled up outside Baja's Beach Club in Coconut Grove. She was already waiting, dressed in tight black, everything clinging to her body like it had been painted on. Her tan skin glowed under the streetlights, muscles defined and proud, like a sculptured statue dipped in oil and sin. My chest tightened, not out of love, out of caution. She took off her heels, hopped in, and threw them in the back without a word. Her perfume, Versace Crystal Noir, wrapped around me like smoke from a fire I thought I'd already put out. A fire I once bought her, a young fire we both had. She leaned in and kissed me on the cheek, thanking me sweetly, as if we hadn't destroyed each other once before. I looked at her, not with longing, but the kind of violated silence. She smiled, flashing those perfect teeth, knowing she still had power. Where to? I asked, trying to sound distant, detached.
Wherever you want, Poppy,
she said, laughing, daring me. I had options. My place, motel. We had history, and it was written in sweat and fire. Sex with her was never ordinary. It was war. Bodies colliding like planets, pulling each other into an eclipse of lust and chaos. She wanted that again. She counted on it. But I knew better now. I declined, quietly but firmly. And that's when I saw the shift in her. That flicker of disbelief, of rejection she wasn't used to tasting. Her pride was bruised, and instead of retreating, she doubled down. She lifted one leg, slowly, teasing, exposing the unholy beneath that tight skirt. She looked at me dead in the eyes.
You don't miss this?
I swallowed hard. I'd been through 100 temptations in my life, but this was warfare, and I was losing ground by the second. Every inch of me wanted to surrender, but in the core of my soul, I knew this wasn't love. This wasn't even lust. This was destruction wearing designer heels. Then came the breaking point. She pulled out a small bag, white powder shimmering like snow in the moonlight.
You want some?
There he was, the devil himself, not with horns, but with lashes and lipstick. And I saw what was happening so clearly it almost hurt. He was using her, using every crack in my armor to drag me back into the pit I had crawled out of. I thought of Jen, of my son. I had to pick them up tomorrow. Had to look them in the eyes and know I hadn't failed again. No, Monique, that's not happening, I said, voice firm, final. She felt the change. She snapped her legs closed and stared at me, wounded and furious. She sniffed, took a few bumps in the visor mirror like nothing mattered, and finally said,
Fine, take me to my cousin's.
The ride was tense. She mumbled bitter remarks, little jabs, anything to get under my skin. But I didn't bite. I kept my eyes on the road, my hands on the wheel, my soul on course. She no longer had control over me. I wasn't the man I used to be. And that night, in the silence that followed, I realized something powerful. Sometimes walking away isn't a weakness, it's salvation. The coke was hitting her now, hard. You could see it in her eyes, and the way her voice changed, sharp and erratic. The high didn't soothe her. It made her mean. She wasn't used to hearing no. She didn't know how to exist without control, and I had taken it from her. As we neared her cousin's place, her words grew louder, more venomous. It was like watching a beautiful storm unravel. Her pride had been wounded, and now she wanted blood. Her cousin stood outside, waiting with some guy beside her, just enough of an audience for her to put on a show. She leaned in, eyes wild, voice rising with every word, calling me a punk, a coward, anything she thought would cut deep. But nothing she said could touch me anymore. That version of me, the one she owned, the one who would have folded and became her sex slave, he was gone. I glanced at her, quiet and stern. "Get the fuck out, Monique." She flung the door open, jumped out in a fury, and slammed it behind her with a force that seemed to echo off the street. She screamed more curses into the air as I drove off. The sound of her voice faded behind me like a bad memory, finally leaving for good. I didn't look back. I drove in silence, windows down, head clear. I had dodged a bullet, and I knew it. I was tired, but it was the good kind of tired, that kind that comes after doing the right thing. And for the first time in a hot minute, I felt proud of the man I was becoming. Just a quiet hope that now I was finally walking with God. Next morning, I pulled up to Jen's apartment, hopeful, excited even. She came down wearing a pink Ed Hardy cap over her dark, brown, beautiful hair. That casual Adidas sweatsuit hugging her body in all the familiar ways. She looked amazing. Italian features, full brow, soft lips, that knowing smile that once made me feel whole. She was the kind of woman who could wear a hat and still look like she was walking a runway. She smiled at me, really smiled, and told me our son, Jordan, wouldn't be coming today. It would just be the two of us. My heart skipped. She told me to pop the trunk so she could drop her bag inside. I couldn't press the button fast enough. The truck slammed shut hard, too hard. A sound that wasn't casual. It was violent, final. I turned my head, confused. I saw her approaching. Her face was different now. No longer smiling. No longer soft. She had something in her hand. She was walking straight towards me. I've seen this look before, and it made me uneasy. Something in her hand glinted in the morning sun like a loaded weapon. She walked straight to my door and held it up.
"Whose are these? Monique's?"
There it was. The motherfucking Choo. I just stared at her, remembering the exact moment Monique threw those heels in the back seat and jumped into my life one last time. She didn't wait for an answer. Tossed the heel bag inside like it was trash and walked away. Just turned and left, taking the light with her. And I broke. I sat there in the front seat as tears pushed their way out. They came slow at first and all at once. I cried hard, like a man begging for one more chance at life. I texted Jen over and over, desperate words, spilling out like confessions before a firing squad. I told her everything. Jen never responded. Pure silence. And in that silence, I realized it was game over. For real, for good.